Those of us who remember corner shops with shelves of flavours you'd never see today, lunch breaks spent trading packets like currency, and fingers permanently stained with seasoning know that crisp culture peaked long before the 2000s. Number 7 coated your hands in more dust than a chalkboard. Number 4 made you feel like an astronaut. And number 1? That one didn't just burn your tongue. It left an impression on your entire childhood. If you ever shook the last crumbs into your mouth before the bell rang, this one's for you. Number 10. Tudor Gammon Flavour Crisps. The Sunday dinner snap. Tudor's Gammon Flavour Crisps were the kind that made you stop mid-chew and go, "How did they get that into a crisp?" Salty, sweet, smoky and weirdly festive, they tasted like a full roast minus the washing up. Kids grabbed them because the packets were bold. Adults loved them because the flavour felt familiar, in a way modern crisps rarely do. The crinkle of the bag was as memorable as the crunch itself. As crisp brands modernised and quirky flavours gradually disappeared, Tudor's Gammon Crisps faded quietly from corner shops and school lunchboxes. Tudor brought roast dinner nostalgia, but the next flavour on this list pushed novelty even further. Number 9. Hedgehog Flavour Crisps, the novelty that made you look twice. Hedgehog Flavour Crisps were the packet that made every kid stare, flip it over, then stare again. Despite the name, the flavour wasn't actually hedgehog, but it tasted savoury, herby, and unlike anything else on the shelf. The novelty alone made them legendary. Kids brought them to school just to get a reaction. Adults bought them for the story as much as the snack. They sparked endless jokes and became a cult favourite long before social media existed. As flavours became safer and branding more polished, Hedgehog Crisps quietly vanished from shops. Hedgehog Crisps brought cheeky novelty, but the next snack delivered a bacon-scented crunch shaped like a tiny farmyard friend. Number 8. Burton's Piglets. The Bacony Biscuit Crunch. Burton's Piglets were the cheeky bacon-flavoured biscuits that looked more like toys than snacks. Tiny pig-shaped crackers with a smoky, savoury seasoning, they delivered a crunch that felt closer to a biscuit snap than a crisp bite. Kids lined them up on desks, made them walk across lunch tables, or bit the heads off first, because that's just what you did. Their salty, bacony hit made them dangerously Moorish, and the novelty of the pig shapes sealed their status as a playground favourite. As crisp aisles grew louder with extreme flavours and bigger brands, Piglets slipped quietly into nostalgia, leaving behind only the memory of that oddly perfect biscuit-crisp hybrid. Piglets brought playful crunch, but the next snack hit with a tomato tang you could smell before you opened the pack. Number 7. Tangy Toms. The tomato tang that took over. Tangy Toms were the crisps that announced their presence from several feet away. One whiff of that sharp tomato seasoning, and everyone knew someone had cracked open a bag. Shaped like little corn puffs and absolutely coated in red dust, they stained fingers' napkins, and sometimes entire uniforms. Kids compared who had the reddest fingertips. Adults pretended not to like them before eating half the bag. Their tangy kick felt bold for a kid's crisp, and the airy crunch made them instantly addictive. As snack lines shifted and classic flavours lost shelf space, Tangy Toms became a rarer sight, but their tomato punch still lives vividly in memory. Tangy Toms brought bright, bold flavour, but the next snack brought football-fueled chaos. Number 6. Smith's Football Crazy. The Terrace Crunch. Football Crazy Crisps turned every kid into a match announcer. Shaped like tiny footballs and seasoned with smoky bacon flavour, they were the snack equivalent of kicking a ball against a garage door for hours. Kids poured whole handfuls into their mouths between playground games. Adults bought them for match days because they fit the mood perfectly. The crunch was loud, the flavour stronger than you expected, and the fun of the shapes never wore off. As branded novelty crisps dwindled and simpler shapes took over shelves, football crazy crisps slipped out of circulation. Football crazy brought sporty crunch. But what's coming next dives straight into the 3D crisp trend that made the 90s unforgettable. Number 5. KP Skydivers, the little crisps with big flavour. KP Skydivers were the crisps that made every kid feel like they were eating something far cooler than they should have been. Shaped like tiny parachutes, they brought a playful twist before you even tasted them. The flavour hit hard, a bold, savoury punch that felt bigger than their size should allow. Kids launched them off tables, pretended they were falling from great heights, or stacked them into towers before finally crunching down. The light, airy texture made them incredibly easy to eat, and the seasoning stuck to your fingers long after the bag was empty. As crisp aisles moved towards smoother shapes and modern branding, Skydivers drifted away from shelves. Skydivers brought playful crunch, but the next crisp aimed straight for outer space. We're halfway through, and if you're enjoying this dive into Britain's vanished crisp aisle, keep going, because the top 3 include a monster-sized favourite, a pub classic with serious flavour, and the crisp that delivered mustard-fueled legend status. Number 4. KP Outer Spacers, the Cosmic Crunch. Outer Spacers were the crisps that felt like they came from another planet. Hollow, puffy shapes that looked like alien artifacts and crunched with serious attitude. Kids treated them like edible space toys, lining up UFOs, rockets, and strange geometric shapes before munching them one by one. Their corn-based crunch and salty seasoning made them a standout in the 90s snack universe. You didn't just eat Outer Spacers, you played with them first. As branding sharpened and novelty-shaped crisps disappeared from shelves, these cosmic classics became nearly impossible to find. Outer Spacers brought space-age fun. But what's coming next is the peak of the crisp countdown. Monster Munch Cheese and Onion, the Lost Giant. The old cheese and onion Monster Munch flavour was a legend in its own right. A crisp so big, so bold, and so unmistakably Monster Munch that you could smell it before the bag even opened. Each piece was a chunky, claw-shaped crunch bomb, dusted in seasoning that stuck to your fingers like glue. Kids bit the toes off first, compared claw sizes, or tried to fit a whole piece in their mouth just to prove they could. The cheese and onion flavour hit differently, sharper, tangier, and far punchier than the modern versions. It filled classrooms, living rooms, and packed lunches with an aroma teachers definitely didn't appreciate. As flavours rotated and the lineup slimmed down, this classic quietly vanished, leaving only the monster mascot behind. Monster Munch brought giant-sized nostalgia, but the next crisp delivered a flavour that belonged firmly in the pub. Number 2. Smith's Bovril Crisps, the pub packet with power. Smith's Bovril Crisps were the savoury hit that felt more like a winter warmer than a snack. Deep, rich and unmistakably beefy, they tasted like Sunday gravy trapped in a crisp. Adults bought them at pubs, kids grabbed them at school fairs, and instantly felt like they were eating something grown up. The brown packet stood out, promising a flavour far stronger than most crisps dared to offer. One crunch filled your mouth with that signature Bovril punch, salty, hearty and strangely comforting. As crisp flavours softened and pub snacks changed, Bovril Crisps faded from the aisles, becoming one of the most missed classics of all. Bovril brought savoury strength, but the final snack on this list didn't just bring flavour, it brought fire. Number 1. Brannigan's roast beef and mustard. The legendary heavyweight. Brannigan's roast beef and mustard crisps weren't just strong, they were ferocious. One sniff and your eyes watered, one crunch and your whole face reacted. Thick cut, ridged and seasoned with a mustard kick that felt like it punched straight through your sinuses. They made kids feel brave and adults feel nostalgic for a time when crisps didn't apologize for having flavor. These weren't casual snacks, they were a full tasting experience. People dared friends to eat them without flinching, argued over whether they were too strong, and then reached for another handful anyway. As crisp shelves softened into safer flavors and fewer brands kept the old-school intensity, Branigan slowly disappeared, leaving behind a cult following who still talk about them like a lost treasure. Branigans didn't just vanish, they burned themselves into memory. So that's 10 British crisps that vanished after the 1990s. They weren't just snacks, they were the packets rattling in school bags, the pub flavours nobody forgets, the playground trades, the finger dust trophies, and the crunch that defined entire lunch breaks. If you remember tearing open a packet before the bell rang, comparing claw shapes, or shaking crumbs straight into your mouth, share this with someone who lived it too. Because even though the crisps are gone, the memories still crunch louder than ever.